your empty hands in mine. And scars, show me all the scars you hide. And hey, if your wings are broken, please take mine so yours can open too. 'Cause I'm gonna stand by you. Oh, tears make a lot of scopes in your eyes. It hurt, I know you're hurting, but so am I. And love, if your wings are broken, borrow mine so yours can open too. 'Cause I'm gonna stand by you, even if we're breaking down. We can find a way to break through. Even if we can't find heaven, I'll walk through hell with you. Love, you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna stand by you, even if we can't find heaven.
That's the life we live in. I don't hear you. Sleep on. I hear nothing. Talk to me, I baby. I just wanna touch the sky, baby. Talk to me, I tell you. Wow. Drinking that party when I get to the party, but it's after the party.
On Saturday, May 30th, Brooklyn, get ready for a night you will not forget. As Dr. Ghost, the Empire Dawn presents reggae legend Dwayne Stevenson live in concert.
Word from the wise, don't try to make life on your own.
Dwayne Stevenson.
From a little oxygen you breathe.
Sean B from St. Lucia.
Something grip me, please don't let me go.
Alongside Tilly Bang. Doors open at 7 p.m. Showtime 10 p.m. sharp. And it's going down inside the St. Lucian House, 438 East 49th Street, between Church and Snyder. With music by DJ Bashi, Selector Akal, DJ Sci-Fi, DJ GQ, and Earthquake Sounds. Hosted by Jessica Movements. Brooklyn is gonna be one memorable night. Performing live, Dwayne Stevenson. Tickets cost $70 in advance, $100 at the door. Ticket info, contact Moses on 347-701-6046. That's 347-701-6046. Sponsored by 106.3 FM, New York City. Lock in the date, Saturday, May 30th. Reggae legend Dwayne Stevenson live.
Doing you too bad.
DJ Shows and Momo present Sunrise to Summer. Sunrise to Summer. Most anticipated event for the summer. It goes down Saturday, June 27th at Legends Place, 495 East and 95th Street. Get ready for the Total Destruction crew. DJ Kev, Top of the Line Family, DJ Young G, and the birthday boy coming through. The Simpler X, live on the record of Vinci. Tickets are only $20. You'll pay more at the door. With drinks on sale and food on the house. Saturday, June 27th, Sunrise to Summer. New York, get ready. This is gonna be a movie.
Get pain relief fast with Frances Rub. When the days get tough, rub it. Having back pains, rub it. The dog not well, rub it. COVID on you, rub it. If you have Fuedi, rub it. For proper circulation, rub it. Stroke have you on a side, rub it. For all problems in life, rub it with Frances Rub. Or call 713-4162 or 489-3421. Nothing beats a good old Frances Rub. Located in the Vendors Arcade, booth 27B.
And now in the A4 on Girodi Street next to the post office.
Good evening, Hush Talkers, and welcome to another episode of Hush Talk. Before I begin my talk, I know that a lot of people are wondering where the link is, where they can find the live. Guys, I just want to remind you that Hush Talk has a platform on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. Did I miss anyone out? They have those 4 platforms. So at 6 p.m., if you have not been shared a link, all you need to do is go on to any one of those platforms, search Watch Radio NYC, and look for the 6 p.m. live. We are always going to live on the live on Watch Radio NYC at 6 p.m. every Wednesday. And before I also dig into that topic, I also want to remind you that next Wednesday we have a very special thing that we're starting for you. We're going to have every last Wednesday of the month, we're going to have Wind Down Wednesdays. And it's going to be very important, especially after this heavy topic that we're handling right now. So with that said, I want to welcome you to HushTalk, because this is the space where difficult conversations are no longer whispered in hushed voices or in silence, but are spoken with courage, with compassion, and with truth. I am your host, Yolanda, and today with my co-host, Vilna, and if Tamara shows up, we are going to continue an incredibly important discussion. We're going to continue talking about domestic violence. So this is domestic violence part 2. Okay, I don't understand why somebody's calling me. I'm not sure. So this is domestic violence part 2, where we're going to talk about the red flags, healing, and hope. But first, I just want to really welcome everyone who is here right now, and I want to thank everyone who showed up and listened to part 1. Those of you who shared your knowledge, those who sent messages, or you just simply sat quietly and reflected, I want to thank you, because conversations like these are never easy, but they are necessary. Domestic violence is something that thrives in silence. It thrives in people's fear, in people's shame, and in isolation. But here on HushTalk, we are committed to breaking that silence together. So I just want to kind of give you like a little review of what part 1 was. In part 1, we discussed what domestic violence actually is, and we define it as a pattern of behavior used to gain power and control over another person in an intimate relationship, a marriage, a dating relationship, or any kind of relationship within a household. We also explained that domestic violence is not only physical abuse. It can also be emotional abuse, psychological abuse, verbal, sexual, financial, even digital abuse. And I think upon reflection, we realized it can even be spiritual abuse. That was something we did not touch on the last time. So we talk about the different types, and we talk about the physical violence. We talk about the emotional manipulation, the financial control, the sexual coercion, and also isolation. We talk about threats and intimidation. And we also talk about stalking family members on social media, or like cyber abusing them to make sure we have control of their activities and actions on social media. So just to give you a quick recap for those people who were not here, or even if you're here, to kind of like refresh your memory. So we go into part 2, kind of like equipped with the knowledge we need to have to understand where we're coming from in part 2. So the quick recap of what we said, that if you want to figure out what domestic violence look like, maybe you've been suffering from domestic violence, or you know somebody who is suffering and you don't know what it looked like. Some of the symptoms or actions to look for to tell yourself, okay, am I suffering from domestic violence, or am I immersed in domestic violence? You need to look for whether or not you're walking on eggshells around a partner. You need to look to see if there is always constant fear or anxiety. Is there a loss of confidence? Are you being controlled or monitored? Isolation from friends and family. If you have some unexplained injuries, or if you see your friends or family have a certain personality change, all of those things can give you a clue as to whether or not a family or friend is suffering from with domestic violence. So we also focused on some of the most important conversations. We looked at why is it people don't leave. We ask questions like, why do you stay in domestic violence? And we definitely focus on the sad reality that people who are suffering abuse at the hands of domestic abusers, for them, leaving is not always easy. It can be one of the most dangerous phases in an abusive relationship, because Some of those survivors, they stay because of fear. Some of them financial dependence, some of them because they have children or they have emotional attachment in the situation. Some of them is for religious or cultural pressure. They say, oh, I don't believe in divorce. Nobody in my family has been divorced. I don't want to be the first one to be divorced, or my church doesn't believe in it. That's what we mean by religious pressure. Some of them, they stay because of threats. The abuser threatened them. Some of them, they bond with others through the same trauma they experiences. And then we have a few of them, or a lot of them, who stay because they're hoping that eventually things will change. So as we move into part 2, if you remember nothing else from our part 1 conversation, I want you to remember that domestic violence is never the victim's fault. And I'm going to say it again, domestic violence is never the survivor's fault. So I want to say both as the victim and the survivor, because some people who have suffered domestic violence, they are victims because some of them died and they didn't survive it. So it was never those people's fault. So it's never the victim's fault. And those people who have survived it, who have experienced it, they are the survivors. It's never their fault either. So if you missed part 1, I want to highly encourage you to go back and listen to part 1. Look for May 13th HushTalk live and listen to it. But today, we are going to move from recognition of the domestic violence actions to the solution. We are going to move to taking action part. We won't just be talking about the weight of domestic violence. We will be talking about the way out. So let me just quickly give a shout out to some of the people who are already with us. And I see we have people who are eager to comment. I want to say hello, and good night to Leona Bryce, Electra St. Catherine, Shana Salam, Selena Phillip, V. Aquati, Lisa Obius, and all of the people who may not have said anything here yet, but who are here. If you are here, we appreciate you. You are our audience. You are our voice. You are our purpose. So we cannot communicate enough how much we appreciate you. So just to, we're going to start now on part 2. We are going deeper. I'm going to tell you where we're going to focus on the red flags, the prevention, the solutions, how to get help, the healing and coping methods that you can utilize, the community support, the available resources via technology, and the practical next steps for you as a survivor or for you as a supporter of our loved ones. So I'd like to take this time to introduce my co-host Vilna to you. And I know she's suffering from a little cough right now, but she's going to take you into the red flags of domestic violence. What are the red flags, and how can you identify and deal with those red flags?
Good evening, everybody. Before we begin, I would just like to say that domestic violence, it often begins, like Yolanda said, quietly. It's not always with physical abuse, but a lot of the times it's with control, it's with fear, it's with manipulation, it's with isolation. And one of the most powerful ways to help our victims is by teaching people how to recognize the warning signs early and creating safe spaces where they feel believed, supported, and protected. Some of the common red flags, we have emotional and psychological abuse. And by this, we have the constant criticism or humiliation, making the victim feel not good enough. You dress to go out, and that's not good. You look yourself in the mirror and you feel good, and then they realize you're feeling good, you're looking good, and you're doing something for yourself, but they will come down on you and tell you you're not feeling good, because they know, especially if you are someone who you look for acceptance from that person. So they use your weak areas to break you down, to destroy you, to keep you down there, so they could keep stepping on you and continue to abuse you. Another one of the signs is the controlling behavior. And this is also part of the psychological abuse, because they control you. They isolate you from your family members. So now everything that you do, everything you say, they have to be a part of it. You have to gain the acceptance from them. So they control everything you do. They control what you do with your phone, how you do it, who you talk to, where you go, what you wear, how you wear, what you eat, what time you go to sleep, what time you wake up, what time you go to exercise. And a lot of the times we think, oh, he loves me, so he tells me what to wear. Oh, he loves me or she loves me. And a lot of the time we do not realize that this is a form of control, somebody taking over our lives and telling us what to do. And sometimes as women, we think, oh, we have to be submissive. But it's not us being submissive, it's us allowing somebody to control us and letting us do something that we don't really want to do a lot of the times. Because a lot of the times when you go back and you look deep within, you realize I never wanted to do what was happening. I was only doing it out of fear. I was only doing it out of what I thought was love, or I was only doing it because I was being controlled and I was not even aware that I was being controlled. Another one is verbal abuse, public embarrassment. And that happens a lot in very, very subtle ways, where you find someone who they would embarrass you and in the form of a joke, and everybody laughs. But deep down inside, you're hurting, your heart is reaping because you are embarrassed, because you were insulted. But it's done in such a subtle way that you're not even sure if you are the one being overly sensitive. All of these are ways and signs. The grabbing, the pushing, little things that we let slip. But when we realize that these are signs, when we realize what is being done to us, when we sit back, when we start the healing process, we understand that a lot of these things were not just was not just us being overly sensitive, but it was really and truly red flags that we miss. Digital abuse, tracking the phones, you passwords. They have access to your password, you don't have to theirs. Everything you do, you take your phone to talk to somebody and they need to know who you're talking to, what you're saying, what you're doing. So sorry. So a lot of it is knowing the signs, seeing the signs, and understanding when you need to stop and take control.
Okay.
Take your time, they took off.
So guys, I'm just going to take over quickly, just to kind of like reiterate some of the points Vilna said. From what I heard her saying, that one of the first not one of the first, but one of the red flags was extreme jealousy. A lot of times we interpret that as, he's jealous when he sees talking to somebody, or you know what, she gets mad when I'm talking to somebody, or in the case of parents and children, oh, you know what, she likes her father or she likes her mother more than me. These are not signs of love. These are subtle signs that something is wrong. So we talk about extreme jealousy. We talk about love bombing. They want to tell you, oh, you know what? Nobody will ever love you like I do. I love you more than anything in the world. I'm going to die without you, making you feel guilty about what it is they're saying. Vilna also talk about the controlling behavior, making sure they tell you what to wear, how to spend your money, who you can talk to, monitoring your moves, and they make all of the decisions. She spoke about the humiliation and the verbal abuse. She spoke about I'm not sure. Did you talk about anger and intimidation? I don't talk about anger and intimidation. Some people, they will tell you, oh, it's not my fault. I was just angry. Anger made me do that. So they're punching walls, they're breaking objects, they're using threatening behaviors. And there is one that happens, I hope not so often. There is one, road rage. A lot of times, abusers, especially domestic abusers, they will put you in a car and they will drive with you to the point where they will just put that fear in you. This is what can happen if you don't give me that control. I am going to kill you or kill us both. We see those explosive kind of tempers. These are not minor issues, guys. If they haven't hurt you yet in a kind of behavior like that, that kind of anger and intimidation will hurt you. Vils, are you ready to take over again?
Yes. Sorry about that. I'm battling the flu. So another one of the red flags is the cycle of apology and abuse. This cycle is one of the hardest parts for survivors. You have tension, you have explosion, you have a repeat of the honeymoon phase, where we spoke about that the last time, where when you get angry, then some people need the anger to go back into that loving phase, and they feel if somebody doesn't hit you, if they don't abuse you, they don't love you. And all of that are signs that we need to keep looking at. These are signs that we need to become aware of, because the only way we could assist somebody and the only way we can become aware is when we know the signs. Knowing the signs, accepting the signs, and knowing how to deal with the signs. One of the ways we can assist the victims is by not judging. Because a lot of the times, one of the questions...
Hold on, Viv. We're going into our second segment already. So I really wanted to actually just put the various red flags out there and let it kind of like sit in the minds of our listeners, so that, you know, they can process, oh my goodness, maybe I've had an experience, maybe I've seen an experience. So this is what was happening. This is the red flags. Guys, I want to implore you, before we even go into the solutions, into the practices that can prevent them, into the actions we can take, I want you to really think about those red flags. Think about, have I ever seen any of those red flags in my life? You don't have to share that with us. Or have I ever seen it in the life of one of a close friend or family? You can think on that. When we come back, we're going to talk about how we can prevent those domestic violence by identifying those red flags and taking action immediately to prevent them from moving from red flags into domestic abuse. So before we take our first break, I want to welcome Jerry Peter. I want to welcome Adela Seeley, Rhonda Spencer-Thorne. I want to welcome Sharon Williams. Adela says, what about financial abuse? Adela, this was definitely a topic we spoke about last week. We spoke about, some people controlling all the money, and even if it's your money or their money, they use it, they spend it, they give you no control over it. But when we come back, we can also touch a little more on it, because obviously it's a question that you have. Leona is saying, I know all of this firsthand because I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I love that. Hopefully you can share some of your expertise with us when we come back. Guys, as we go off for our first commercial break, I want you, if this conversation is resonating with you, it's helping you, you're not enjoying it because this is never something to enjoy, but it's just making sense. Give us a like, give us a love, give us some kind of emoji, so we know definitely that this is something that makes sense to you. We're gonna take our first short commercial break. See you guys very, very soon.
All the wonders in the world, solutions only meant for me. So much history to be told and so much more for eyes to see. The colors feel the love, I can tell you all the way. Proud of it, proud of it, proud of it, proud of it. It don't matter where I voyage, it don't matter where I roam. Majestic becomes stand.
On Saturday, May 30th, Brooklyn, get ready for a night you will not forget. As Dr. Ghost, the Empire Dawn presents reggae legend Dwayne Stevenson live in concert.
Word from the wise, don't try to make life on your own.
Dwayne Stevenson.
From a little cottage in your dream.
Sean B from St. Lucia.
Something gripping, please don't let me go.
Alongside TD Bang. Doors open at 7 p.m. Showtime 10 p.m. sharp. And it's going down inside the St. Lucian House, 438 East 49th Street, between Church and Snyder. With music by DJ Bashi, Selector Akal, DJ Sci-Fi, DJ GQ, and Earthquake Sounds. Hosted by Jessica Movements. Brooklyn is gonna be one memorable night. Performing live, Dwayne Stevenson. Tickets cost $70 in advance, $100 at the door. Ticket info, contact Moses on 347-701-6046. That's 347-701-6046. Sponsored by 106.3 FM, New York City. Lock in the date, Saturday, May 30th. Reggae legend Dwayne Stevenson live.
Doing it too bad.
Get pain relief fast with Frances Rub. When the days get tough, rub it. Having back pains, rub it. The dog not well, rub it. COVID on you, rub it. If you have 4AD, rub it. For proper circulation, rub it. Stroke have you on a side, rub it. For all problems in life, rub it with Frances Rub. Or call 713-4162 or 489-3421. Nothing beats a good old Frances Rub. Located in the Vendors Arcade, booth 27B.
And now in VA4 on Girodi Street next to the post office.
Thank you guys so much for your responses. Welcome back. I see our likes rose by almost 200%. Move from 3 to 8. So definitely they're putting some emojis. We really appreciate that. So now we're back. We're going to talk about how to minimize or prevent domestic violence. The thing is that prevention starts long before abuse happens. Because if you can identify those red flags we shared with you earlier, once you see them happening, you could just say, stop. We're not going there. And then you can prevent it. So what we're going to do, we're going to start talking about what are some of the things we can do to make sure that we prevent domestic violence from happening. Bill, do you want to start or what do you want to do?
No, great. I was just about to say, Leona had a comment. She said, my biggest supporter through it all was a social worker, which inspired me to be one. There was no judgment from her. The empathy and the way she cared gave me hope.
Wow. So that gives us a really great segue into the information we have, because Leona is talking about the social worker inspired her. One of the things, for me, the very first thing I have on my list is healthy relationship education. If you have somebody in your life who can educate you on how to not be a victim and move from victim status into survivor status, and those people can come from social workers, therapists, families, support, friendship, all of those things. Those are people who help us to give that education. If we have partners or institutions that can educate us about self-respect, about communication, about boundaries, about consent, about emotional intelligence, and even how to resolve conflict. That is one way to prevent us from even experiencing any kind of domestic violence. A lot of times people wonder, well, whose responsibility is it? When people are becoming abused, who takes on that responsibility? Whose fault is it? A lot of that responsibility rests upon the community. And you may wonder, well, what do I mean by the responsibility is rests upon the community? I don't know if any of you who are listening have had any experience where you have found solace in your community. It may not be a wider community. It may just be your small community right there, people around you. Leona said, Help Roads was amazing with support resources. So, Leona, I love that you put it. If there is anybody who's wondering, where can I get those resources? If you or anybody else who is watching, you have any kind of resources that can help people out there who have experienced that or who know people who experience it, please copy those resources and share it with people you know. That is what we mean by the community responsibility. Even if you've not experienced it, but because you know, I know of a resource and I know somebody who might need that, I am taking that information, so I'm passing it on. And as a result, you could help one person from those unpleasant experiences. And that's what we mean by community support. We have schools who that can be explaining to children what healthy relationship looks like. parent communications. I tell the children, listen, if anybody tells you X, Y, and Z, that is not healthy. So as the children grow, they know if they get into those relationships that are abusive, they can identify it and they could say, you know what, that is not for me. We have in workplaces, you have support, whether you're supporting workers who come in who may experience those kind of abuse. We have families and we have communities who are doing outreach to help victims and to help the family of victims and the survivors of domestic abuse. Bills, is there anything you want to add?
A lot of the times, the victims, the people who are being abused, they stay silent because they fear the judgment. And simple words like, I believe you, you do not deserve this. These are the things they want to hear. They don't want to hear, why did you stay? Why you're not leaving him? Why you just taking that abuse? It makes them feel even worse. And you doing that is almost a form of you now trying to control them and how they feel and what they do. So what they are looking for is support. We need to try avoiding questions like, why didn't you leave? Why the maybe she didn't mean it, maybe he didn't mean it, maybe he needs another chance. What they want is the support. They need you to listen without judgment, help them, guide. They don't need us coming down with the 20 questions. It just makes them feel weaker. It makes them feel more vulnerable, and it just makes them get a little more quiet and sink deeper into that rabbit hole, because now not only are they unsure about themselves, but now they feel that they're being judged, and now it makes them feel even worse, because not only when they're beginning to come to that realization that something is wrong and I need to do something about it, then instead of us standing and supporting and not judging, the judgment and all of that just makes them sink a little lower.
I agree, because when we say, oh, but why didn't you leave? But why do you say that all this time? It's almost like it sounds like blame. Because I don't think anybody would stay in a domestic violence situation because they like it. So all of those reasons we mentioned earlier, the fear, the shame, all of those things, the children, financial reasons, you're trying to kind of like weigh, if I leave, what is going to happen on the other end? So if us coming in and say, well, why didn't you leave? It's almost like saying it's your fault for staying, or it's almost like saying you're weak because you stay in a situation that wasn't serving you. Instead, we can ask a question like,
how can I help you?
How can I help you?
For you? Yes.
Yeah, or we can ask, but why do you think this abuse is happening? So now, even then, the person might start to think a little deeper. Well, wait, is it something I'm doing? Is it something the other person is doing? Because even if we are struggling, sometimes that this is not my fault. Mm-hmm. This is not my fault. We have those people, as we said earlier, who are walking on eggshells. Your mother comes home, your father's come home. When they come, they're gonna be angry. So all the time you're there, you're like, that's not the door opens. You're like, you're scared because you know what this moment is going to yield. So now you're just terrified. You want to make sure I don't make any noise, I don't do anything wrong. You're hiding things because you don't want to do anything that's gonna trigger them. Because deep down, it's not me. It's your anger, it's your insecurity, it's your whatever it is that we were trying to, to keep under control. It has nothing to do with me. If you look in the chat, what I did, I put some information. If you or anybody is suffering from domestic violence, is experiencing that kind of pain, regardless of what kind of abuse it is, there are hotlines. We have the National Domestic Violence Hotline in the US, and it's an 800 number, 800-799-SAFE. You can also text START to 88788. And of course, we have the good old emergency number, 911. We also have, because we have so many viewers, it's hard to say in this place, in that place. But we have most countries internationally, they have hotlines. So if you, based on where you are, most people have cell phones now, and most people have their locations on. And if you don't have it on, you can turn it on when you want that help, and you can type in domestic violence help near me. And a list of centers might come up, numbers might come up, even links might come up. Now they have very discreet resources where you can go on and use technological resources discreetly. Nobody doesn't have to even know you're looking it up. So take advantage of those resources if this is something that you think you need. Let me go back to our audience. Let me see if there is anything new from our audience. So V is saying this is not your fault. Guys, I really want you to believe that. If there is anything you don't believe today, believe that if you are experiencing domestic violence, it is not your fault. I'm going to make this situation a little light because I know it's heavy and sometimes it can be stressful. I was thinking to myself, I have to be very careful what I say in this talk today, because since our last talk, I have been accused several times of inflicting domestic violence on my husband. If I take 2 pieces of grapes from the fridge and I say, babe, here, and I put it, he say, I don't want. I'm like, put it in his mouth anyway. He goes, babe, that's domestic violence. You using force to make me think I don't want to eat. Guys, that's not what we're talking about. I'm just sharing a joke out there so we can laugh. That's not what I'm talking about. I want you guys to really reflect in your lives to see if you have experienced it, to see what you did about it, to see and to know if you experience it, what you can do to make sure that you are not a victim of domestic violence.
Another thing that we can do is or that we don't do a lot of the times is that we don't respect their peace. We don't support without pressure. And I think somebody said it, the support is short-lived. Like we were there for them today, and the support by tomorrow, so they go back. So it's like the vicious cycle. They don't have that long-time support. So when we come out to support, are we going to be there for the long run? Are we going to be there for the long run and not be judgmental? Are we going to give them that shoulder to lean on? Because some people need more time than others. Some people might be ready in 2 weeks to pack up and go. Because remember, a lot of the times when you live in, it's dangerous. Sometimes there are children. You need a safe space. You need a plan. And that is what we need. Is the support, is the support long-lived? Will we be there for the long run?
So as you were talking, something else came up. When we spoke about shame earlier, if I am experiencing domestic violence and Villa, you're my friend, and I come to you, I tell you my deepest, darkest fears, you're here, you're supporting me, but as soon as you go down the road, you know, this girl just told me last night her husband, this, that, or this man just told me last night his wife did this, or this child just told me. We don't know how to keep confidences. We want to break the silence. We want to make sure that those people who are experiencing domestic violence don't just leave it to themselves and keep quiet. But when we're talking about breaking the silence, we're not saying to take people's business and put it out there in the streets where they're embarrassed and they feel like I should have kept my mouth shut. We need to be able to be discreet. We need to be able to be respectful. And we need to make sure, as you said, that safe space, creating that safe spaces, those spaces of trust. So people who are suffering know, hey, I can go here for refuge. I can go here for relief. I can go here for guidance. I can go here for support without feeling that I'm the laughing stock of my entire community. So is that what you're talking about? They said they need safe spaces to emotionally express their feelings without being further victimized by the helper or social worker. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Adela says, I think so. The help, what was that? I think also the help when short-lived caused victims to go back to their abuser.
Oh yeah, I know I heard that. She was the one who said that. Yes.
Yeah. So if right now you give me help and I don't have the support and I'm just on my own, then what am I supposed to do? At least I'm going to get battered black and blue, but at least I'm going to have food. So that is true. When the support becomes inconsistent or becomes broken, then we're creating that space for the person to go back into the abusive relationship. So it makes a lot of sense. Guys, before we break again, I feel like those are coming so quickly. So before we break, I just wanted to talk about some of the technological apps that we have for survivor safety. So they have emergency alert apps that you can look up and download. They are hidden safety apps that you can look up, like GPS emergency sharing. I think my sisters and I were using one called 360. It was an app that your family members always know where you are. So if they haven't heard from you, they haven't seen you for a while, they just go on Live 360 and it tells them, oh, you were last seen that place at that time. Now, in as much as this can be an app that's going to rescue you if you're experiencing domestic violence, it can also be an app that can be used for control. So you have to be careful with who you're sharing it. You don't want to share it with the person who is abusing you. Because if you share it with that person, then all of a sudden you went somewhere for grocery shopping and that person know, oh, in that area, there's a group of people hanging out. Oh, so that's where you were over there so people can see you. When you come home, you're going to find out. So you want to make sure you kind of like based on your situation, you know which one is best for you. There is also the secure online counseling sessions and there is the online support group. So as you're figuring out how you can use those technological resources to keep yourself and your family safe, some of the things you can do right away, if you have people who are using power and control and fear to control you, you can change your passwords. You can turn off your location. When you're browsing, you can even browse privately because they can back, let me see what she was looking up online. Let me see what's looking up online. There are people who just talk. You see their husbands looking at social media. Oh, I see they're staring at that girl ever since. Oh, because you like her. And they're watching everything you look at. Check the devices for tracking apps because people who are abusers, they will go on there just to see. Let me see where you went. Let me see where you come from. Let me see where you were yesterday after work. So these are things you can do. And if you find those things on your devices, your phone, your computer, erase them. Take them away. So that way you can save yourself some of the heartaches that come with, those actions. Vilna, is there anything else you want to say before we go to our second break?
No, I think when we come back.
Okay, so I just want to add, if you are in a place where you can get emergency housing, you can get legal advice, you can get counseling, you can get child support services, please just, familiarize yourself with all of those services. So if you're ever in that kind of situation, you will be able to know where to look for help that comes on a national level, not just on a community and a familiar level. Okay? So when we come back, I want to empower you to become a domestic violence fighter. So when you leave this talk tonight, you're going to leave empowered and you're going to leave capable of helping somebody or helping yourself who has experienced domestic violence. I'll see you shortly.
All the wonders in the world, St. Lucia's only meant for me. So much history to be told and so much more for eyes to see. The colors feel the love, I can tell you all the way. Proud of it, proud of it, proud of it, proud of it. It don't matter where I voyage, it don't matter where I roam. Majestic people stand. Oh, I never lived like you wanted. Yes, I was mindful of what you taught me. Blessed love, this is Dwayne Stevens from Augustown, New York Massive, St. Lucian Massive. I will be coming to you. So I say, St. Lucia House is the place between Church and Snyder. The 30th of May, remember, Dwayne Stevenson concert, live, and it is brought to you by Dr. Ghost and the Empire Dan. So I say, Salaki in Ropin. I'm Mr. Ropin, because this is a session I go vital. I watch out, cool running. Yeah, rocking is what I say. The 30th of May. Remember that.
Get pain relief fast with Frances Rub. When the days get tough, rub it. Having back pains, rub it. The dog not well, rub it. COVID on you, rub it. If you have 4AD, rub it. For proper circulation, rub it. Stroke have you on a side, rub it. For all problems in life, rub it with Frances Rub. Or call 713-4162 or 489-3421. Nothing beats a good old Frances Rub. Located in the Vendors Arcade, booth 27B.
And now in VA4 on Girodi Street next to the post office.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Hush Talk with Vilna and Yolanda. When we were gone, I saw Leona put in the chat 988. I don't know. I've never heard of this one, but as a licensed, as a social worker, she knows what she's talking about. She said now there is also something called 988. Oh, here goes the answer. V said 988 is a suicide hotline. So it's good to know that, because a lot of people sometimes after they've been through really intense domestic violence, they feel like the only thing they can do, the only way out is suicide. So if you know anybody who may be experiencing that, that's a good resource for them. 988. But they help with all of these. Viana Leona says because most times the abusers lead to suicidal thoughts. Yep. I have flyers from them and a list of things they should do. So Leona, if you share that with me, I can, after this live, upload it under the responses under this live. Or you can do it also. You can, upload it from your computer as a response to this live so that people have. If anybody in the crowd has access to resources, you can always just put them under this live, because people who come to this live watching, they will go in to see what resources are available. So that will be very, very helpful. Remember, you guys are the most important part of Hush Talk. So your responsibility is helping us. We are just the main voices, but your voice matters as well. Good night, Merlin. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Sometimes walking away from your abuser means walking away from your common circle. If that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have a circle, but listen, if in that circle, the abuser is a strong link in it, then you maybe have to walk away from the whole thing. You know what? I like that you said that, because one of the things you're going to talk about in this segment, our audience is so instinctive. There is great spiritual energy, spiritual vibe going on right here. One of the things you're going to talk about, one of the action that you can take that will ground you as a survivor, a permanent survivor of domestic violence, is reaffirming your identity. So sometimes you might have to change the whole way you see yourself. Instead of saying, what, I am this weak person, or I am this person, you're like, you know what? Change your whole identity. And sometimes when you change your identity, it means changing your circle. So that's a vital point that you bring up. Before I go to that, I just want to read all what our audience says. Leona says, another thing that works, help them create a code. So when, I'm already loving this. So when the abuser is arguing with them and creating threats, they can call and use the code right away, so the person they're speaking to can alert 911, and that can save lives. They can use 911 because the abuser will know. They can't use 911 because the abuser will know right away what they're up to. For example, the individual can choose the code yellow. So when they get on that call, as soon as they say yellow, the person will know they're in trouble and can call 911. Exactly. And it could be something even less subtle. You could just say, I really feel for a strawberry. Or you could use something your family or friends know you hate. If, for example, me, I'm allergic to dark black grapes. So I say, all of a sudden, I'm feeling for really dark black grapes. Then I get shock. If my family and friends, they know I feel like I'm in a place where I am suffocating. So you can find code words that even if the person, because they might be tracking your phone, picks up that phone and read it, your family or support system is going to know that means I'm in trouble. I love this idea so much. And I'm just so glad that we have social workers, licensed social workers on here that can give us this kind of advice. Jerry Peter said, not being allowed to express how you feel. So all of those things that you guys are saying are definitely ways that we can make sure that we survive this thing called domestic violence. So, Vilna, do you want to start with the
segment 5?
Healing strategies for survivors?
Coping and healing for survivors. Mm-hmm. Survival is not the end of the story. Healing matters. And how do we start to heal? Domestic violence, it affects our mental health, our self-esteem, our trust, physical health, emotional regulation. Therapy helps, counseling helps. But another thing that helps is, like Yolanda said, rebuilding your identity. Finding things that you love, finding new groups, doing new things. Because sometimes that old group is what you needed to break out of, find to new challenges. because comfort can really cripple you, and a lot of the times that is what's holding you back. There's the idea of stepping out of that comfort zone and starting something new, but sometimes that new identity, that new group of friends, people that you can trust, that's where your healing begins, because it's you're not stuck in that old cycle. You're not battling the same fears. You're not battling the same addictions and control. You're moving on to new things. It's not going to be easy. It is going to be a struggle. And again, that's where the support comes in. That's where you need the support. That's where you need somebody to lean on. And having the proper support system, having the proper resources, that is the first step to healing. And again, not judging, letting that person heal at their own pace, not pointing fingers, not judging, letting them heal, giving them their peace. They may make mistakes, they may sleep. We catch them when they do, but we don't judge and call names. Let them feel safe. They need to feel safe. They need to feel protected. They need to feel that they can trust you. They need to feel that they can rely on you. And these are some of the things that we need to help these victims to start to heal, so that they can take that one step out of this dark hole that they're slowly going down, to slowly pull themselves out. And when they begin to see the light and they start feeling refreshed and they start feeling that or seeing all these new perspectives, and they realize there is life outside of that darkness. I can do this. If somebody just holds my hand and give me that little push and that bit of support.
It's true, guys. It is so important to understand that surviving is not the same as healing. We see a lot of survivors of domestic violence and they're carrying around scars. They're not healed. They're still angry. They're still scared. They're still frightened. And their every action communicate that. So even if you have survived domestic violence, you kind of have to heal. You have to let go of the scars. So one of the things I want you to do with me today, I want you to do a quick reflection. I want us to do it together. I want you to take a deep breath. Literally take a deep breath, put in all of that clean, fresh air, and ask yourself, do I feel emotionally safe in my relationships? Can I express myself without fear? Am I constantly anxious around someone? Do I feel controlled, isolated, or diminished? Have I ignored red flags because I have hope that things would improve? And if there is someone you love and that person came to you telling you to describe your relationship, what advice would you give them? Especially if you know they were in a domestic violence relationship. So guys, I want to leave you with this. If you are experiencing abuse, don't keep it to yourself. Tell someone you trust. Create a safety plan. Reach out to a hotline. Use one of the resources we gave you. Seek counseling. If you do anything else, document all of the incident that's happening to you. Everything that's happening, your experiences, document it. So if worst case scenario, you don't make it, at least that person out there can get some of the consequences and punishment they deserve. Remember that you deserve to feel safe every single second of the day. So if you know somebody who is experiencing abuse, I want you to listen to them without judgment, avoid blaming them, offer that support that you can support them, encourage that they get that professional help that they need, and most of all, be patient. We are the communities. As Vilna said earlier, we need to stop asking them, why do you stay? Why don't you leave? We need to start asking them instead, why do you think this abuse is continuing? And see if together we can find a plan where we can break this. So in our last few minutes, I have an exercise I want you to do with me. As we close today's episode, I want every survivor who are on with us today to listen clearly as I say this. I want every supporter, because trust me, whether you know it or not, you may have been a support to somebody who has been through domestic violence. So I want every survivor, every supporter to listen as I say this today. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not responsible for the abuse that you endured. Your story matters, your safety matters, your healing matters. And no matter how dark things may seem right now, there is still hope, there is support, there is healing, and there is a future beyond survival. I want you to repeat after me. And Vils, I want you to help me. Just because I cannot hear the audience, maybe you can be the audience, so they'll be saying together with you. I want them to repeat after me. My peace is non-negotiable.
My peace is non-negotiable.
My safety is a sacred right.
My safety is a sacred right.
Not just a privilege.
Not just a privilege.
I am the sole owner of my mind, my body, and my future.
I am the sole owner of my mind, my body, and my future.
The silence is broken. The
silence is broken.
The shame is rejected.
The shame is rejected.
And I am stepping into my power.
And I am stepping into my power.
I deserve relationships.
I deserve relationships
built on respect, safety, honesty, and love.
Built on respect, safety, honesty, and love.
I will not normalize abuse.
I will not normalize abuse.
I will not silence pain.
I will not silence pain.
I will seek help when needed.
I will seek help when needed.
I will support others without judgment.
I will support others without judgment.
I choose healing.
I choose healing.
I choose peace.
I choose peace.
I choose freedom.
I choose freedom.
And I choose to believe.
And I choose to believe
that every person deserves to live free from violence.
Deserves to live free from violence.
Guys, if you have recited this affirmation with me and with Vilna, I want you to go deep into yourself and feel the power that you just gave to yourself. Feel the freedom that you just pulled from within yourself, the freedom that you built in that community, our community of listeners, our community of actioners, and tell yourself that as of today, May 20th, 2026, that you are a supporter and you are a warrior of domestic violence, and it will not survive on your watch. So before we end this episode, can we just read some of the things that we have in the chat? Because I know
we have Jennifer Flood. This is actually my boss, and she says, I'm joining late, but greatly appreciate the discussion today. Adela said, amazing HushTalk episode as always. And Merlin said, good sis Yolanda. Oh, I missed out one. Adela said, surviving and not healing might just make you become an abuser without even realizing it.
That is true. That almost happened to me, because that almost happened to me. I saw some other entries here.
Yeah, Leona said something. Yeah, Leona said, get a journal and write everything down. So if you can't make that call, then bring the journal to the non-judgmental figure.
Okay, I saw Adela says we listen and we don't judge. Leona says accepting what happened and understanding it was not their fault and letting go of the anger. Adela says, oh, you already read that one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Leona is profusely thanking. Selena is clapping. Jennifer, oh, you said about Jennifer Flood
Yeah,
already.
Jennifer Flood, Georgia.
And then V says, I am not a victim, not survivor, but I said that and I feel so powerful. Thank you, V, for validating that this episode was not just an episode of talk. This is an episode that's necessary because so many of us have seen, we have been in it, we have experienced it, we have fought against it, we have supported somebody who has been in it, and it's very, very necessary because through all the fighting, unfortunately, domestic violence still happens throughout the world. It's not only something that happens in underdeveloped countries, or how do you guys call it, third world countries. It happens everywhere in the world. And unfortunately, in some places, it is acceptable. So I love that you feel empowered. I love that I feel empowered. And I appreciate you guys for giving us that platform for speaking to you. Leona says, I needed it because I am still so angry. So hopefully you're going to use the strategies we just put here and you are going to help yourself heal. You are going to move from survivor mode to healing mode. Electroset's powerful affirmation. Guys, you have no idea. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you to no end. You've been listening to HushTalk, where the silence ends
and the healing begins.
I am your host, Yolanda Simmons. Sorry. I'm your host, Yolanda Brown Peter.
Vilna Joseph.
And Vilna is your host also. Joseph, thank you for joining us for this important conversation. I want you guys to take care of yourselves. I want you guys to take care of each other. And remember, guys, your voice has power. Thank you. Your voice matters. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot say that enough. This weekend, go support. Not this weekend. This weekend? Some weekend. Dwayne Stevenson, one of my favorite artists in New York. Go support him. And next Wednesday, we are going to come. Please, make sure you buy a bottle of wine next Wednesday. Everybody comes to us with your bottle of wine, because next Wednesday is Wine Down Wednesday. It's going to be a very light, very fun session. I am looking forward to winding down with you. So, have a good night.
Good night.
Get pain relief fast with Frances Rub. When the days get tough, rub it. Having back pains, rub it. The dog not well, rub it. COVID on you, rub it. If you have 4AD, rub it. For proper circulation, rub it. Stroke have you on a side, rub it. For all problems in life, rub it with Frances Rub. Or call 713-4162 or 489-3421. Nothing beats a good old Frances Rub. Located in the Vendors Arcade, booth 27B.
And now in VA4 on Girodi Street next to the post office.